Hey everybody, Johnny B. Good here. Hello, and good afternoon greetings from Cole Township, Pennsylvania. Once again, today it is Monday, March 11th, 2019. A local time is 2:02. Temperature according to Grace is 48 degrees. Grace and I are empty and headed for Denver. We're picking up in Denver, delivering to Upper Marlboro, Maryland, I think it is. Denver, PA, that means. I meant not Denver, Colorado. Boy, that's a long deadhead, right? Denver is 80 miles from here. Our pickup appointment is at 2 p.m. This afternoon. And I think it delivers at 2 a.m. I think that car is abandoned. I saw it out there last night. By now you probably have seen the video where Jackie visited the island. Did you notice the background, how clear the blue ocean is? The background where Jackie is at, that's where I have learned to swim, fishing. That was my stomping ground from the earliest memory I could recall. And when I saw that last night, man, I almost cried. And you know, be honest with you, I really was to the point where I was gonna cry, and then I started feeling sorry and I don't know, feeling angry. Let me put this in a perspective, okay? That whole place was nothing but a swamp, and my dad developed it to a beautiful place. And at the height of my mom and my dad's marriage, everything was so fine and beautiful, and that whole place had hundreds of people at a time on one given day, almost every day. And it was a wonderful life. Lots and lots of laughter, lots of kids. But when my dad and my mom started getting fights and they divorced, the whole thing just collapsed. I mean, it is so sad. You ever watch these movies, videos, pictures of a place that used to be so alive? For example, you know, the glory days of hotels and casinos, and now they're just abandoned, you know. I don't know if you could remember personally, if you're in your life, where a place that you grew up, the place that you called your own as a child, and now it's just abandoned. It just makes you sick, you know, especially when it was yours to begin with. I mean, yours, your father's, your parents. And now the house is all boarded up, the trees are overgrown. And having said that, it's one of the reasons why I had to leave the Philippines, because financially there was nothing there for me to support me, let alone my family. That's why I'm here. Even though I was born there, I was born an American citizen because my father was an American. It doesn't matter where your child is born. If you're an American, that child is an American citizen. So anyway, when I saw that picture, it made me so happy, so sad, I could almost cry. And I started feeling like, Lord, why did you take this away from me? And maybe I was disappointed, I was maybe a little angry. And I said, and the Spirit of the Lord told me, you know what, you were never meant to be in this earth. I mean, you're not destined to be on this earth. You're just here for a little time. Be glad that the Lord has shared that memory with you and allowed you to have that experience. Most people never will. I mean, it's pretty sad, really. I mean, it's heartbreaking to see the place like that, all run down. And worst part of it is that you see when Americans are not allowed to own property in the Philippines. So if you're an American, if you get married to a Filipino citizen, the property must be registered to your Filipino spouse. And when my dad and my mom divorced, naturally the property went to my mom, and my mom had nothing. All she had was the properties, not really making any income. So it got loaned and got loaned, and my mom kind of lived off the land and all that stuff, until to the point where the bank was going to repossess everything. And so my dad offered my mom $50,000 for the whole property. And again, since Americans are not allowed to own properties in the Philippines, my dad temporarily put the land in his best friend's name until such time that he can decide whatever he wants to do with it. Now, before you criticize the Philippine law of Americans or foreigners are not, not just Americans, I'm sorry to say that, foreigners are not allowed to own properties in the Philippines. Before you criticize that law, I support that law, because Philippines is a very, I wouldn't say it's a very poor country. A lot of people are poor, and what ended up happening is foreigners will go to the Philippines and buy out properties real cheap. And to protect that, they came up with that law where foreigners are not allowed to own properties. So anyway, when my dad bought the property from my mom for $50,000, he temporarily put it in his best friend's name. And wouldn't you know it, a few months after the deed of sale, the transaction was done, my dad just passed away without any warning, nothing. Just went to bed, never woke up. And so now the property is solely belonged to his best friend. Now, before you criticize his best friend, he's looking out after my dad's property, and out of that $50,000, my brother and I and my mom, we had our share of that $50,000. So morally and legally, we have no claim to that property. Yes, it's unfair. That's the word. That's the word of the century. It's unfair. But legally, lock, stock, and barrel, it all belongs to my dad's best friend. And so anyway, that's the background story of that place. And it has always been my dream to come back to the island and, finish what my dad started. But financially, I am not able to do it. And according to my dad's best friend, he says, if you guys want to invest with it, we'll do partners. Well, we have nothing to invest. And so it comes back to the story of I started feeling sorry, and I was feeling a little bit angry that, you know, that the Lord took that away from us, from me. Then that little voice in my head, the Holy Spirit's voice said, cherish the memory. Be glad that I allowed you to be part of that story. And you know what? It changes my heart. It changes my feelings. It changes my perspective. I'm not angry anymore. Yes, I'm still sad. Yes, I still dream of finishing it. But I'm not, what's the word? I'm not bitter anymore. The bitterness is gone, because to realize that to begin with, I you know, the Lord didn't have to make me part of that. So be glad, be cherishful of the memory. And I hope that John and Jackie took some more videos of the place. Hopefully, you know, within a couple of weeks, I can show you what that whole place really looks like. And if you look at behind Jackie's picture, there's a pole standing right there in the middle of those rocks. Believe it or not, that pole has been standing there for the last 45 years. That is one of the hardest wood in the Philippines. Those woods they call them iron woods. They don't rot. They're solid, man. They are just amazing. It's called tugas. T-O-G-A-S. Tugas. I don't know what the English word for it, but they're very rare. They're over harvested, and that used to be a light post right there. By the way, that town that we passed, according to Brambo's World, that's Laval, Pennsylvania. That little town that I kind of mentioned last night as Schuylkill, that's Laval. That's actually Laval, Pennsylvania. I had it on my phone here. You know, in my younger days, I used to dream endless nights, sleepless nights, about what I would do to that place. I spent a lot of waking nights daydreaming of what it could be. I even fantasized about winning the lottery in my younger days. And going back there and just spend every penny to it, you know? And you know one thing I realized? All the daydreams that I've had before, it wasn't time. it wasn't time for me to be able to really finish it or do something with it. I didn't have the discipline. I didn't have the maturity to, to act on it. You ever dream of something that is so beautiful and so right, and yet it was not given to you until your golden years? Rightfully so, because you would have just ruined it, And in a certain way, I'm glad that the Lord didn't give it to me when I was younger. Do I still want it? Oh yeah, definitely. But I will wait for His time this time. Alright, that's all I have for you guys at the moment. I hope you guys are doing very well. May God richly bless you and your family, keep you safe. And for those of you who are new to this channel, I can't say for certain, but I think there's a possibility that you were led here. Maybe the Lord has been tugging your heart for quite a while. Maybe. Peace.